Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Kelly Mazdi, owner and founder of Kelly Counts Macros. I have my 8-week shred and also Clubhouse membership. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that follow button so that you don't miss a single episode. I have a new episode every single Monday. So today we are talking about something that will completely change the way you approach fat loss, consistency, and honestly, your sanity. And this is the concept that I teach: good, better, best. Because so many of you are stuck in the all or nothing thinking. So many of my clients have that thought. You think it has to be perfect or off track. And that's the mindset. That's what's keeping you stuck, the all or nothing mentality. And I like to use the all or something mentality. So today I'm going to show you how to think differently and how to make decisions in real life, whether it's about food or really, you can really apply this to anything in your life, exercise, and how to actually stay consistent without feeling like you need to be perfect. So, what is good, better, best? So, let's keep it simple. You know, I like to keep it super simple. You're always making choices, every meal, every workout, every social event. And instead of thinking I have to be perfect, we shift to what is my good, better, best option right now? Because you cannot be perfect all the time. So you do what you can. So let's talk about a tracking example. So if you're tracking your calories, your protein, your carbs, and your fat right now. Let's start with that. I find that this is, where people get stuck. So, best case, you are weighing, you are measuring, you're tracking accurately in an app. Better is if you're using restaurant nutrition info and estimating with intention. And we're talking about when you're eating out. Good is you're finding something close in the tracker or in Google and making your best guess. So all three count. Even with the app that I use, the My Macros Plus, you're able to take a picture of your plate and it will do the macros for you. Of course, with ChatGPT, you can also do the same thing. So that's also a great way to track when eating out. Okay. So all three count, right? All three move you forward. And here's the truth: it's actually easier to start with good. Estimate it, get used to it. Then over time, you will naturally get better at it. So, one thing that I do, um, you can take a quick picture of your plate and then go back and log it later. So, if you're eating out, with your mother-in-law and you don't want to track, it's very common for people to take pictures of their plate and you can track it later. So, that's real life. Now, let's talk about a food example. So, let's talk about restaurant rolls. Real situation, right? You're at a restaurant, the waiter or waitress brings over the rolls. Now what? Most people think, oh, I can't have those. Those are rolls. Those are yummy. They're buttery. Maybe they have some cinnamon on them, or they eat all of them, overeating before they even have their meal, and say, I'll start over tomorrow. But here's where we can use the good, better, best scenario. Let's start with good. Eat one roll, go over by 100 calories. Big deal. Better, share a roll, go over by 50 calories. Best, you planned ahead, you did your research, you pre-tracked the roll, you fit them into your macros. So, same situation, different choices. And here's the key: there's no guilt. You don't suck because you ate a roll, you made a choice. Okay. Let's talk about a vacation example. You're leaving for a weekend getaway. what's your plan? Good. You eat out, you make healthy choices, you focus on protein and veggies, and you don't track. Better. You eat out, you focus on protein and veggies, you track loosely. Best, you plan ahead, you look at the menu, you pre-track, you bring your own food, you stay within your macros. Again, same trip, different levels of intention. You're not going off the rails. So the choice is yours. All right, let's exercise. All right, let's talk about workouts. Because this is another place I feel people going in all or nothing. I've seen this with so many clients. They're losing the weight, but they just cannot get the workouts on board. And this is because they think that they need to do 5 days a week, hour-long workouts. And this is where Train with Kate comes in. My sister, she has a virtual option. It's 15 minutes. You can do it once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, and start there. Okay, so let's start with the best this time. The best, you completed your full planned workout. You sat down on Sunday, you wrote it down in the calendar, you put it in your phone like an appointment. You're not going to miss. That's the best. Better, your kid got sick, you got called into work early, you woke up late, you shortened it. You shortened it. Usually you do 40 minutes, you did 20. Usually you do 60, you did 30. Usually you do 20, you did 10. Better. Good. You go for a walk or get your steps in. Do you see the pattern? You don't skip it completely. You just adjust. You just adjust. So let's talk about a social example. Social and you're eating. Okay, you're at a party, the dessert comes out. Instead of saying, I can't have that, try this. I get to make choices about what I eat. And that's powerful because now you're not choosing restriction. You're choosing, good, I'll have a dessert and I'll enjoy it in moderation. Better, I'm going to ask my sister to share it, or my husband, or my wife, or I'm only going to take half. That's okay too. That's a better situation. Best, skip it because it's tiramisu. You don't really like tiramisu. You'd rather have something more filling, something else you see sitting on the buffet table. That's the best. All are valid. What matters is alignment. So, the big shift, this is where everything changes. Stop attaching the emotion to your choices. Stop saying, I was bad. I messed up. You didn't mess up. You chose. And when you realize that, you feel empowered. Let's talk a little bit about people pleasing piece. I hear this all the time. Let's talk about it. A lot of you don't make the choice you want because you're worried about what other people think. You don't want to offend someone. You don't want to be that person. But here's the truth. You're allowed to make choices that align with your goals. Say it out loud if you need to. I'm choosing something that feels better for me right now. So many times I will go to a party or a picnic and somebody will bring out the desserts and then they'll say to me, well, you don't eat that. And I'm thinking, if I wanted to, I would, but I don't want that Walmart cookie. I like chewy, chocolatey, homemade cookies. And if you brought that out, I would eat it. Sometimes somebody, I don't know, strawberry under the sea salad. My grandma used to make it, and I used to eat it just because I wanted her to feel good. And, thinking back, I could have had, just a bite of it. I could have, said, Grandma, I don't really like that. Um, Sometimes it's because you don't want to offend somebody. And really, it's okay to say no. I say no to people all the time. And I feel empowered to be that person. When we are at overnight, week-long tournaments, weekend long, I should say, and everybody's staying up, drinking and eating pizza and having all this fun, it's okay for me to be different. It's okay for me to go back to the room. I enjoy for a little bit, but I want to go back to the room. I want to feel good tomorrow. I want to get up and go to the gym before we hit the fields or the courts or whatever it is for the day. It's okay to be different. You're choosing what feels better for you. Effective and enjoyable. This is what I love about macros. This is why it's sustainable. This is why it finally caught on for me. Um, it's important, you know, it has to be effective and enjoyable. Okay. It has to be effective and enjoyable. It doesn't have to suck to work. It doesn't have to feel like a diet to work. So, macro counting is effective, it's enjoyable. You can have beer, eat a Snickers, go out to dinner, still get results. We want progress, not perfection. We know perfection is a myth. 3 months of consistency will get you further than one perfect week. Ask yourself, have you ever been 100% perfect all the time? No. And guess what? You can still get the results that you want. Don't become the macro dieter. This is important. Don't turn this into another diet. Diets have rules. I don't have any rules. This is awareness. This is flexibility. This is choice. So the next time you're faced with a decision, pause and ask yourself, what is my good option? What is my better option? What is my best option? Then choose based on your goals, not your emotions. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. And consistency comes from making the best decision you can in the moment that you're in. So start using this today. Good, better, best. That's how you stay on track. That's how you stay sane. That's how you get the results. And remember, you're always doing better than you think you are. See you next week.